TikTok, the popular short video app, is facing a potential ban in the United States. This app, known for its viral dance challenges, comedic skits, and creative content, has become a staple in the daily lives of millions of Americans. This comes after a U.S. appeals court upheld a law that could force TikTok to sell its U.S. operations or be banned entirely. The ruling has sent shockwaves through the tech industry, raising questions about the future of foreign-owned apps in the US market. The situation has sparked intense debate, with national security concerns, freedom of speech, and data privacy all coming into play. Advocates for the ban argue that it is necessary to protect American users from potential data breaches, while opponents claim it infringes on free expression and access to information. Millions of Americans use TikTok daily, making it a cultural force and raising the stakes of this potential ban. From teenagers to celebrities, the app has become a platform for creativity and connection, influencing trends and pop culture in unprecedented ways. The heart of the issue lies in TikTok's Chinese ownership. ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, is based in Beijing, and this connection has fueled fears about the Chinese government's influence over the app. TikTok is owned by ByteDance, a Chinese company. This ownership structure has led to concerns that the app could be compelled to share user data with the Chinese government, a scenario that many find alarming. This has raised concerns among US officials about the potential for user data to be accessed by the Chinese government. The fear is that sensitive information could be exploited for espionage or other malicious purposes. These concerns are rooted in China's history of government surveillance and data control. The Chinese government's track record of monitoring its citizens and controlling information has only heightened these fears. The potential for a foreign government to access the data of millions of Americans is a serious concern for US lawmakers. They argue that allowing such access could compromise national security and the privacy of American citizens. This potential ban is part of a larger trend of increased scrutiny of Chinese tech companies operating in the US. Companies like Huawei and ZTE have also faced similar challenges, reflecting a broader geopolitical struggle between the two nations. The US government has become increasingly wary of the influence of these companies and their potential to compromise national security. This wariness has led to a series of legislative and executive actions aimed at curbing their reach. This case could set a precedent for how the US government approaches regulating foreign-owned tech companies in the future. The outcome could influence not only TikTok, but also other apps and services with international ties. The outcome of this situation will have significant implications for the relationship between the US and China in the tech world. It could either pave the way for more stringent regulations or lead to a new era of cooperation and mutual understanding in the digital age. The US Appeals Court's decision to uphold the law mandating TikTok's sale or ban is a significant development. This ruling has far-reaching implications for the tech industry and international relations. The law passed in 2020 gives the US government the power to force the sale of TikTok to a US-based company. This legislation was a response to growing concerns about data privacy and national security. This decision means that ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, has a critical choice to make. They are now at a crossroads, facing immense pressure from both the US government and their own stakeholders. They must either sell their US operations or risk being banned from one of their largest markets. This decision could significantly impact their global strategy and financial health. The court's decision emphasizes the seriousness of the national security concerns surrounding TikTok. The app's vast user base and data collection capabilities have raised alarms among US officials. The judges ruled that the potential risks posed by TikTok's Chinese ownership outweigh the app's popularity and user base. They believe that the app could be used as a tool for espionage or other malicious activities. This ruling sends a clear message that the US government is willing to take drastic measures to address what it perceives as a national security threat. It underscores the lengths to which the government will go to protect its citizens and interests. The court acknowledged that a ban would inconvenience millions of TikTok users. Many users have built careers and communities on the platform, and a ban would disrupt their lives. However, they placed the blame squarely on China, citing its hybrid commercial threat to US national security. The court believes that the Chinese government could exert influence over ByteDance to access user data. This statement highlights the court's belief that China's government could potentially use TikTok for purposes that could harm US interests. The ruling reflects a deep-seated mistrust of Chinese tech companies. The court's decision reflects a broader trend of increased skepticism and distrust towards the Chinese government in the US. This case is just one example of the growing tension between the two superpowers. As the situation unfolds, it will be crucial to monitor how ByteDance responds and what steps the US government will take next. The outcome could set a precedent for how other foreign-owned tech companies are treated in the future. TikTok has expressed strong opposition to the court's decision and has vowed to fight the potential ban. The company maintains that it operates independently of the Chinese government and that user data is secure. TikTok argues that a forced sale is unnecessary and would set a dangerous precedent for foreign companies operating in the US. The company plans to appeal the ruling to the Supreme Court, arguing that the ban infringes on the free speech rights of its users. TikTok claims that its platform is a vital space for expression and creativity, particularly for younger generations. They argue that a ban would be a blow to free speech and limit the ability of Americans to freely express themselves online. TikTok's legal battle is being closely watched as it raises important questions about the government's authority to regulate social media platforms. The outcome of this case could have significant implications for the future of online speech and the balance between national security and individual rights in the digital age. The case is likely to be tied up in the courts for some time, leaving TikTok users in limbo. The US government has been unwavering in its assertion that TikTok poses a significant national security risk. This stance has been consistent across multiple administrations, reflecting a deep-seated concern about the potential implications of the app's widespread use. They argue that the Chinese government could potentially access user data through ByteDance, TikTok's parent company. This concern is not just theoretical, it is rooted in the reality of China's legal framework, which allows the government to demand access to data from companies operating within its jurisdiction. This concern stems from China's broad surveillance powers and its track record of compelling companies to cooperate with intelligence gathering. The Chinese government has a history of leveraging technology for surveillance, raising alarms about the potential misuse of data collected by TikTok. US officials worry that sensitive information such as user data and browsing history could be accessed and used for malicious purposes. This includes the possibility of hacking into personal accounts, stealing identities, or even blackmailing individuals based on their online activities. They argue that this data could be used to identify and target individuals, spread disinformation, or even interfere with US elections. The potential for such interference is particularly concerning given the increasing role of social media in shaping public opinion and political outcomes. These concerns are amplified by the fact that TikTok collects vast amounts of data on its users, including their location, contacts, and even their keystrokes. The app's ability to track user behavior so comprehensively raises significant privacy issues. The US government also expresses concern about TikTok's potential to be used as a tool for spreading propaganda and shaping public opinion. Given the app's popularity, it could be an effective medium for disseminating biased or misleading information. They fear that the app's algorithm, which determines what content users see, could be manipulated to promote pro-China narratives or suppress dissenting voices. This manipulation could subtly influence users' perceptions and opinions without their awareness. This concern reflects a broader anxiety about the power of social media platforms to influence public discourse and the potential for foreign governments to exploit these platforms for their own ends. The ability to shape narratives and control information flow is a powerful tool that could be used to undermine democratic processes and societal stability. You know, it's interesting to see how the issue of TikTok's sale and potential ban has brought together both sides of the political spectrum. Typically, we see a lot of division, but in this case, there seems to be a rare moment of agreement. Lawmakers from both parties are expressing concerns about data privacy and national security. It's not often you see such unity in Washington, D.C., but this issue has definitely struck a chord across the aisle. This bipartisan consensus highlights just how seriously the potential risks are being taken. Civil liberties groups have voiced significant concerns about the potential ban on TikTok. They argue that such actions could set a dangerous precedent for censorship and the restriction of free speech. These groups emphasize the importance of protecting digital rights and maintaining an open internet. The debate over TikTok has created a deeply divided landscape. On one side, national security advocates argue for the ban, citing potential risks. On the other, proponents of digital freedom and business interest push back, warning of the economic and social ramifications. This division highlights the complex intersection of security, freedom, and commerce in the digital age. Looking ahead, the future of social media regulation remains uncertain. Governments around the world are grappling with how to balance security concerns with the need to protect free expression. The outcome of the TikTok controversy could very well shape the policies governing digital platforms for years to come. This moment is, without a doubt, a defining one. The decisions made now will not only impact TikTok, but could also set the tone for how digital platforms are managed globally. As we navigate this complex issue, the world watches closely, understanding that the stakes are incredibly high.